Sebastian Giovinco's out. He's on his way to Saudi Arabia.
That's like he didn't get traded to Chicago.
When you say to your agent, "Get me out of here,"
You're out of here.
Get me to Saudi Arabia.
Toronto to
Saudi Arabia. And he's my understanding is he's making a lot of money. And he should make money. He's a great player. He's 32 years old, which in the sports world, he's an aging product. He's had some injury problems.
Right.
But I think there's no debate in terms of the impact he's had on Toronto and TFC and MLS. I mean, there's no questioning what he's done. He's maybe the greatest player in the history of the league. I've seen some people claim that he put MLS on the map. That's, I think, a ridiculous statement.
a little rich.
It's been around for a long time. When Beckham came here, that was international news. When Giovinco came to MLS, I don't think people were stopping the presses, But he had a great 4-year run, an incredible run. He was a great player. They won all those titles in 2017. This past year, though, was a disaster. I mean, It really was an unmitigated disaster. They didn't even make the playoffs. And Vasquez has already moved on. Now Giovinco's out. It makes you wonder what's going to happen next. I think the man with the answers would be the GM of TFC.
Absolutely.
Making his debut on the show. We haven't caught up with him yet. Here's
Excellent.
Ali Curtis. Ali, welcome to Toronto. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us this afternoon. So take us through this, because we've been discussing the statement made by Giovinco, where he posted that earlier this morning, and he took a pretty significant run at the team, at the organization, at yourself. How do you respond to his statement?
I think it's disappointing. I mentioned it to a couple people earlier today. Anytime you wake up and you read something like that and you think about what Giovinco's meant for the city and for the club and the goals he's scored and been a part of a championship, and then also just the investment and all the effort that the club has had in the relationship with a player like that, it's disappointing. You'd like to think that it doesn't have to end like that.
Can you talk about the numbers? He claimed that the offers were unacceptable. When I talk to somebody in this situation, I want to get the facts. So instead of you saying, well, it was very fair, or him saying it was unfair, how far away or what was offered? How did it come to a situation where he said, this is not acceptable for me?
So, of course, I've been on the job for 3.5 weeks, and there were talks before I came here. But when I got here, I got up to speed very quickly. Bill and myself, Bill Manning, we've had a number of conversations with Giovinco's representatives, whether that's on the phone and then also in person in Los Angeles during preseason camp. There have been ongoing discussions and talks. I'm not going to get into the specific figures, but, I can say with certainty that, there was a contract extension that we offered that still would have made Giovinco, amongst the top paid players in the league, top probably 5 or 7 paid players in the league. Ultimately, he had an opportunity to play in some of those markets like Saudi Arabia, and he felt that was the opportunity he wanted to take.
Is it your understanding that he's making a lot more money where he's going?
I don't know the personal terms of Giovinco's contract. We wanted him to stay here. As a GM, he's the type of player that you dream about. I was really looking forward to kind of getting to work with him and getting to learn a little bit about him off the field as well as on the field. So, I don't know how much he's making or what his contract looks like, and that's between he and his representation. But in a lot of ways, it's unfortunate that he's not going to be wearing a Toronto FC jersey.
With Ali Curtis, GM of TFC, he had term left on the deal. So take us through the timeline. Why was this the time to make this move?
Well, like I said, honestly, a lot of these things came together really quickly. Part of it is, in the world of football or soccer, you've got these transfer windows, and the European transfer window closes tonight. Actually, it closes in about 9 minutes or very quickly, and then you've got the transfer window in the Middle East that closes on February 4th. So sometimes a lot of these player transactions, they come together very quickly, like within the last call it the last 4 or 5 days, or very quickly. So it was something that we didn't expect and anticipate. We thought Giovinco would be playing for Toronto this year. We were looking forward to that. This other offer came in very quickly.
So two main pieces have now moved on, Vasquez and now Giovinco. You guys 2 years ago had a spectacular season, maybe the greatest season in the history of MLS, certainly in the history of this club. But this past year, it got ugly. I mean, you didn't even make the playoffs, and it led to change. Tim Bezbatchenko moved on. You've stepped in. I think a lot of TFC fans are now wondering, where is this operation going? So with these moves and considering what's happened recently, where do you intend on taking this team?
Yeah, I think, the one thing I think for sure is there's last season was a challenge for the club. There's a lot to be excited about the team. There's a lot of quality in the side. We're excited. We're still going to be signing some more players. You'll see that hopefully over the coming weeks. Of course, we need to fill one of our designated player slots, which we're working diligently to try to do. Hopefully, we can secure that signing sooner than later. We're also looking to sign some more players that are high level, high quality, high attacking players, and hopefully we can do that prior to the start of the season. At least that's what we're working towards. So I think there's a lot to be excited about the season. We want to win today, but we also know that we need to be disciplined so that we can win tomorrow as well. And so we're attacking every day, trying to get better, trying to improve, and trying to do things in the right way. We also signed a young homegrown player, Noble Okello, who we're excited to work with and try to bring him into the team, and I think that's going to be exciting. He was playing with TFC2 the last few seasons, and he's a special talent. So how can we integrate him into the team this year and beyond, I think will be very exciting. So I think there's a lot of things that are happening at the organization. Even though things change, our commitment to winning now is still there. We're still going to be spending amongst the top clubs in the league on players, but also there are areas that we spend that nobody sees in terms of what happens with what we do with our youth development program and our reserve side as well. So we're excited about the year. Yes, there's been some change, but we want to win, and we're focused on winning. Even when I was, to be honest, even when I joined Red Bull and I was the sporting director in New York, the season before I joined, we lost Thierry Henry. Tim Cahill left. We changed the coaching staff, and yet we ended up winning the Supporters' Shield in that first year. So I feel very good. I'm excited about the quality of this team, and I think we're capable of winning anything that any other club in Major League Soccer can do this year.
With Ollie Curtis, GM of TFC. We'll get you out of here on this. The two mainstays who have been here for a long time throughout the ups and downs, that would be the faces of your organization, would be Bradley and Altidore. Speaking to the fans now, because I've seen some trepidation, okay, what's going to happen with the future of these two players? Where do things stand with them in terms of the movement and the turnover this offseason? In terms of the future and the stability of Michael Bradley and Jozy Altidore with TFC?
Michael's our captain. He and I have had a few conversations because we're both looking forward to this year. So I'm excited for him to finish up his time with the national team, and then we can kind of start our relationship and get to understand how he works. He's a competitive young man. He's excited about the season, excited about the team. So we're really looking forward to getting him in camp. With Jozy, obviously there's been a contract extension that's been offered. We're in regular contact with Jozy's agent and with Jozy. So we hope those discussions to advance and to move forward. And we're fixed on that. And Jozy's getting himself as fit as possible. He's excited to start the season. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a very good year. I know sometimes in the off season, when you see players leave or you see a little bit of change, sometimes there's doubt when you're not within the locker room. But, I think everyone within this club is excited and working hard to improve and to get better. And there's a lot to be excited about this year.